We're going to start from standing because that's where fights generally start. We'll work our way to the floor off of several different takedowns. Once we've hit a few takedowns, and we may kind of get attacks off of that in between, but we're going to look to attack right off of takedowns mostly, as opposed to hitting the takedown, establishing a position, and then looking to hit some kind of sub. Some of the stuff we'll do will be, if they're trying to defend a sub, how to deal with that. We're not looking at any escapes or anything like that. By and large, this is going to be pretty much all attack, offense. Okay. Do you got questions? Ask.
Our partners very, very wisely for this workshop. Yes. All right. So let's get warm up. Warm up will be pretty much what we already know. Okay, we'll start with just pummeling, but look, even with the pummeling, because everybody knows pummeling, don't let your hands hang. You're going to be active with the underhook and the overhook. Start looking to push a little bit. You can pummel with your legs as well. It doesn't have, I don't want just this that everybody is used to. If you want to start here, that's fine. But then you're going to start working in some pushes and pulls and move them around as opposed to just this. Okay. So on my underhook side, I can push, I can pull. Make space, pull, push, move them, as opposed to just here. Okay? Yeah. All right, 4, 3. Woo!
I don't know what that was about to happen, but it was a lot
Maybe.
Wasn't expecting you to be left out. Seems like a big hit.
there was a lot of zip happening.
I think it might have been comics events then.
Good you. Oh man, is that the stuff that we're doing? Time. Still warming up. So collar and elbow here. Collar and elbow ties and pommel. Push and pull, move around a little bit. Keep your posture stay relatively tall for now. We'll look at snaps and bringing the hips back and whatever. All right. Yeah. 4, 3.
Woo! You can only be so tall. Where's Salma when I need her?
I told you. That would have been a first. All right, just go single collar tie, head clear, Russian tie, back and forth here. Okay. Yeah. 4, 3. Woo!
Did somebody just get slapped?
Down. Let's go biceps pummeling. One side is gonna take the chop drag to the Russian tie. Okay, so nice and slow and easy, just to demonstrate, I'm gonna chase the chop drag to get to the rush. Just let one side chase it the whole time, so we're pummeling in. Usually when she goes to pummel in is where I'm gonna look to chop that arm down and get to my Russian arm. Okay, just have one side chase it off. Oh, three.
Yeah, this one.
Switch, let the other side work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Fine. All right. Let's get to our first tie up and take down.
Wait. I thought you were gonna do it on Mike and then Aaron, and then I was gonna get Joe, and now I'm like.
Wrong joke. All right, so Amber starts with the single collar tie. I'm gonna go same side here and post on the shoulder. Okay, I'm doing this. Trying to prevent this hand from coming in and getting her collar tie. So if she collar ties properly, she's going one. I'm looking to stop that one. The second. Okay. She reaches, same side. Get my own collar tie outside of hers, and then I'm gonna post on the far side shoulder. Right? Reaches. Boom. Now from here, the hand that's posting on the shoulder is gonna go here. The hand that's on the head is gonna go here. This. I'm gonna take a step back here. Okay, now look, in reality, you would be, like, this would be heavy-handed. She should see stars with this one, okay? Don't do that with your partners, but this would be a very short workshop. We're gonna do a lot of this kind of work, okay? So, she grabs, same side. Post the shoulder, go to the far side ear. Here. This. I'm bringing my elbow in as if I had an inside collar tie. I don't, but I'm gonna treat it as if I do. I'm gonna try to make her ear touch her shoulder. This. The hand that posts on the shoulder is gonna pop to the back of the head. The hand that's on the back of the head is gonna get somewhere at or above the elbow. I'm doing this. I'm stepping back. Okay. In real time, they should hit hard, like it should be back. And they're doing everything they can to not face plant. Okay? Be careful with your partners, because seriously, this will get old, because we're gonna do a lot of work around the head and neck today. So don't be too heavy handed with this, but you gotta do enough to actually break their posture. Boom. Okay. 4-3. Woo! You can switch on your own, just 3 for 3, something like that.
Hey, Ron, when you first, I thought you said we were playing pad.
I mean, you told me.
I'm just gonna go to Hey. No, it's just funny.
Yeah, so
You're good to the,
I'm stepping back.
I don't know if that's right. Okay.
I still, head, still, no minutes.
All right, Tom. Look, most takedowns, but especially like snap downs where you have to be heavy handed, like it's really difficult to do it slowly. Like it really should be like nobody wants to do that for 90 minutes. Okay, that's gonna get old really fast, but it should be like when you hit submissions, you hit takedowns, you should hit submissions and takedowns the way you throw strikes. You should snap into those things. Okay. And when we go here and we kind of lock up here, I get this, I'm kind of pushing in, right? So she resists, which will help me hit that snap. When she pushes it back into me, that's going to help me get the energy that I need to really snap her down, especially if you're giving up size. So, and we'll play with a few different things off of this probably. I don't know. We'll see. Now, as I go to hit my snap, I push in, she gives me some resistance, whatever. I hit my snap, bang, I'm gonna go straight into 10-finger choke. Okay, right here. As soon as both of her hands hit the floor, I'm gonna put my chest on the back of her head, like this, and then I'm gonna sit. Okay. I'm cupping her chin like this. My index finger and thumb are just under the chin like this. Not this. If you do this, you'll block the choke. Okay? I need to be here. If you go more under the chin and into the throat, you'll block the choke. I want to be here. As soon as her hands hit the floor, because I know she's not gonna be able to hand fight me for that moment in time. Listen, there's lots of different ways to go about finishing this in terms of what I do with my body and whatever, and we kind of play with some different things, but when I go here, I hit my snap, boom, I'm going right into it. My chest on the back of her head, here. I go like I'm trying to make my elbows touch, and I run my chest towards her chest. Okay. 10-finger choke is it's really good if I get her on the floor like this, or if I get somebody up against a wall or a cage. If we're just out here in space, you'll mostly run away from it because I don't have control of them so much. But when we're on the floor like this, it's going to be very difficult for her to back out of it before I put her unconscious or break something. Okay. Here, this, I'm going to elbows in, run my chest towards her chest. Listen, this should be an almost immediate tap. If it's not, you probably don't have it. Okay, and we'll look at transitions if I miss it. Right?
Training to mess on the combat stance.
Yeah, I could go combat base, or I could go straight to both knees. I think I did both. Both work. I like, given the choice, I would probably go to more of a combat base to give me mobility if I miss. It's going to allow me to kind of spin to the back, chin rip, stuff like that. Okay. Which is where we'll go next, probably. Okay. Other questions?
Knuckles on the windpipe is what we're doing.
This is actually what gets driven into the windpipe. This ridge of the thumb and index finger. If you're not feeling it, let me know. I'll come around and keep your knuckles out. That's this. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Again, like, it's important off of this snap. If I just try to do this from here, they'll just keep running away from it. Okay. Now, if we were here, and I hit the snap, whack, bang, and I come back into the wall, you got nowhere to go, I can finish this from here. Okay. But out in space where they can just back out, doesn't really work so well. But immediately snapping them down and going. And this is important because what I want, really conceptually, what I want everybody thinking about is when I go here and I hit my snap, bang, I'm immediately going into an attack. As opposed to hitting a snap, establishing a position, and then looking for a sub. While she's doing this, I'm on her. Okay? All right. Oh, 3. Woo! Be careful. Or not, whatever. Yeah, that's right. Multiple waivers on hand. Come on, Allie. I thought you were off the clock. Make up your mind.
Yeah, it's taking away.
I do a little bit different. I do. But yeah.
No, that's your time is.
I can be. Yeah, it's not being.
Yeah, if not Ryan's here, he'll help me figure it out. Don't worry, he'll jump in that. Don't worry. Yeah. Down. Yep, this hand. Like there. Let's see the chest on my back like that. You help. Hey, Ryan. Ryan, I'm gonna give you your.
Right on the head. Because of the big bear, the big ears, I wanna make sure that I sternum and the back of his head. Bring my elbows up.
No, it's fine.
Yes. I suggest kind of think. Just.
It's not a turn down.
No, it's, I'm gonna crush.
Well,
You mind?
So, yeah. So I just think over top of you. Yeah. The biggest issue. Yeah. Just going down and bringing it, compression of the back of your face onto my. Yes. Some of you are good. Once or twice, you're like, yes, I saw that. Got the ticket down, you're like, hey. You're doing some stuff in his head right there. I'm like, we got cool. So too late for him to run away. See you later.
If I go.
It's no effort.
Yeah, it's
As long as you suck everything in.
I was case, and then wait on it.
Quite there.
Time. Let's have a quick discussion about choke versus strangulation. This is a choke. This is attacking the airway. Okay, this is literally just crushing the windpipe. That's what's happening. Okay, versus a strangulation where you're restricting blood flow. That's the primary difference. Okay, ultimately they can have a similar effect. One tends to be a bit more humane than the other, generally speaking. Strangulation where you restrict blood flow tends to be a bit more humane, meaning that they'll probably just go to sleep and wake up in 20 seconds, maybe have a headache, not remember what happened. If I literally crush the windpipe, none of that shit's gonna happen. Okay, if I crush the windpipe, it's gonna swell up, they're not gonna be able to breathe. I'm talking about when I say crush, I mean literally crush, like break the trachea. Okay, so I need to keep that in mind from a training standpoint, but also just from a practical standpoint. What am I trying to accomplish with this move? Okay, if I'm in a fight for my life, I don't care about their trachea. If I have more than one problem to deal with, I can't afford for them to get backed up. But you need to be able to articulate why you use deadly force if it came to that. Okay, so let's say I got here and I went to stick my hips in and I don't have it. I can just tell it's not there. Okay, so I'm going to keep the chin and I'm going to spin around to one side as I keep the chin. So whatever direction I move to, I'm going to make her look the other way. Okay, now be careful here. Cause it's literally gonna be my whole body against her neck and her chin, okay? So I'm going from 10 finger and both hands controlling the chin to chin ripping and making her look away from the direction that I'm moving to. Okay, again, in reality, this would be hard, dynamic, explosive. When I go to this side, and there's a lot of different positions that we could take from here. I'm going inside on the far side thigh, just kind of spiral ride here to block her from spinning, sitting out, whatever. I gotta be careful. I'm not doing this right now because I can get rolled. Okay, so I gotta be careful with this. We're gonna talk about seat belts and different kind of control positions in a minute. But for now, when I get my chin rep, I'm just gonna go inside of the thigh, just spiral ride. Keep heavy chest pressure down this way. Keep their hands or keep their weight in their hands, so it's difficult for them to hand fight. Okay, I don't want to be light here because now they feel like they can pick their hands up. I want to be heavy here to where they feel like they need to stay there. If they don't, they're going to just get smashed into the floor. Okay. Heavy top pressure. Heavy, heavy, heavy. Think heavy thoughts. Even if you're small, think big. Okay. If you're big, think bigger. Sorry, Philip. Okay, so I would still like for us to train the snap down. You can be light on it for now since we're getting a lot of reps. And we're gonna do other takedowns as well, but I get here, I don't have it. Maybe it's my hand placement. I'm just too deep with the hands, which is happening in the room. That's usually why you're not gonna have this. And so I'm gonna release one hand. That hand is gonna go over the back for my spiral ride, and I'm gonna go spin and rip the chin. Make them look the direction that you're not going. Okay? Questions? Spiral ride, yep. Okay? 4, 3. Woo! Sweet. This will be the easy part.
Don't worry, I'm all sort of.
Yeah, that's kind of, I just. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I don't. Yes, that's it. It is. Yeah.
Time, real fast. So some of you, you're going here, and as you spin, you're doing this, and you're actually pulling them off of the floor. You're not making them heavy in their hands. Okay. Now, look, if my intent was to get Aaron backside down, belly up, then okay, fine. But I'm on his back. He's face down on the floor with both of his hands on the floor. Why would I do that? So as opposed to that, when I run around with this chin rep here, I'm staying heavy in the hands and not picking him up. Okay. And again, we're not going to stay here long. We're gonna switch relatively quickly to something else. But for the moment in time that I'm going from this position to this position, I want to be able to maintain control as much as I can. Heavy top pressure here. Okay. 4, 3. Woo!
What were you saying about that? Oh, no, I couldn't
Like, I gotta go to the bathroom.
I saw you come for the remote and I looked over and there was no Amber and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. This is it. We're doing this today. Yeah, right? Asian cars. Heavy thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, time. Alright, so now let's look at the next thing. Or a next thing, not necessarily the next thing. Here. Now, I'm gonna switch to seatbelt control here. The hand that was on the inside of the thigh is gonna go to the shoulder. I'm gonna grab this grip here. Okay, so I'm grabbing my own wrist and I'm going to the shoulder. I'm gonna get up on my toes, active toes. Now I'm gonna run my body this way. Okay. This is a little choke, a little crank. Okay. You do it right. She should not know what she's tapping to.
Yes.
Okay. I don't know why I'm tapping, but I feel like I should. All right.
This is the benefit of tapping to pain. I'm tapping because it sucks. Hands down every time.
So,
Trying to give a different name.
yeah. Okay, so I'm seat belting. Everybody has worked a seat belt from this position. The arm that is going underneath the neck here is going to find the wrist on the other side. This hand that's over the top that went from spiral ride is going to control at the shoulder. Yeah. Yes. Now I'm going to get off of my knee. I'm going to come up to my toes this way here. And I'm going to start walking my body here. Heavy top pressure still. I want all of my weight in her hands. And I'm going to just keep running this way until I get that tap. And if I don't get the tap, it'll be because she rolls over or something. That's fine. Now we move over on to the next thing. Okay. I'm not, listen, if I don't get the tap, I'm not bailing on it from here yet. Because I've got good control. I've got a good position. So if I run around that side here and I don't get the tap, it's what she's doing right there. That's why I'm not going to get it. That's fine. Sit her down and we move to the next thing. Okay. Questions? Drive your shoulder into their neck as you run around to that side. Okay. And then drive their shoulder and elbow into the floor. You may feel crank, you may feel choke, you may feel both. Especially for submission wrestling, you don't care why they tap. Well, that was more of a crank. Okay. I don't give a fuck why you tap. Okay. Well, I really want to choke. This is more of a crank. Okay. You tap, I win. We keep going. All right. Questions. The big thing here is going to be the grip, the control. All right. Once you get that, I'm not going to do the crank again, but when you're here, heavy, wrist, shoulder. Then get up on your toes. Okay. Then you're driving their head and neck into their own shoulder. This way. And then use your whole body to run. You shouldn't get far. If you get way over there, it's because they're moving. If they're moving, I'll probably move on to the next thing. I'll sit them up, take their back. Okay. Questions?
From the toe?
You can start from just start from the chin rip. Okay. This is I learned it as a Bulgarian neck crank. Bulgarian. Yep. Yeah, seriously. Really nasty wrestlers, man. All right. Oh, three.
Because that's what you're asking about, Amber.
He knows that's okay, right?
We're doing all we do.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, my shoulder wasn't in your so there's no sleep, right?
Time.
We do this, come on, y'all.
All right. Let's do this. Just go it off. We need to start with just getting seatbelt. Okay. The side that I'm on, that arm is going underneath the head and neck, across the shoulders or across the chest, to the far side, underneath the armpit.
This is your Lululemon bag. Or your Supreme bag. Wrong audience.
Stop making bad choices, Amber.
Here. If I'm just seat belting, okay, just this. This. Okay. For what we're doing, this hand is going to get deeper than just a normal seatbelt though. I'm going to punch it all the way through underneath the armpit. Here. Okay. Here. 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 But start here, everybody in the room. Okay. Go from this to this to this. Hit this 10 times. Let your partner hit it 10 times, and then we'll go back to the crane. All right. Oh, three. Woo!
Right.
There we go. That's what I'm doing wrong. Okay, I figured out. All right, so from here.
You were almost there.
You're so ugly. I know. I like it snuggle. I'm a cuddler. We got to figure it out. You need to have this. Yeah. That's exactly what I guarantee you. Yep. Yeah. Different as a set of going underneath for actually tricep.
Okay.
Die. Okay.
We'll wake you up. Yeah.
So let's say we don't get the finish, we don't get the tap, whatever.
I don't want.
Okay, here, I give this a shot, I run it, it doesn't work, I'm gonna sit her down for now. Whether you get your hooks in or not, okay, I'll leave that to you for now. I've got seat belt with the back, okay? So instead of me going for a more traditional kind of rear naked choke, what I'm gonna do is, if you're on this side, you're probably gonna wanna come over here, cause you're not gonna be able to see what's happening with the hands. The hand that was underneath the arm is gonna go find the shoulder. Here, I'll probably attach to this hand at first, okay? Here. This hand is gonna go to the shoulder. I'm gonna pull the shoulder back and I'm gonna pull this elbow back. Here. Okay? You get your hooks in, same thing, I just got better control now. All right, so I'm gonna pull this shoulder back and down, and I'm pulling this across and back. Like I'm trying to put my elbow behind me here. My hands are not connected. Okay. This hand was seat belted. So instead of me fishing it out and working to do all this, I might do that. Okay. But for right now, we're not. I don't have to. Okay. This is where we finished off of the neck crank to the back take. 1, 2. I'm going to pull this down and back to me. And then I'm going to pull this across and back to me. This is another choke, not a strangulation. This should be fast. Okay. Huh? Yeah.
You saw the transition from her back.
Yeah. So when I'm here, and again, a lot of it will depend on what she does. But as I start to go running here, usually for her to run away from the crank, that's what they start to do. Right. So she's doing a lot of it for me. So as that starts to happen, I'm going to sit her down. I pull her back into me here. Now I can bail on this shoulder. I don't need it anymore. Here. So I've got seatbelt here. Okay. And if you want from here, if she starts to hand fight or whatever, you can check this hand at first. Okay. And then this hand will replace this one on the shoulder. Questions? Start from, you've got the neck crank position. Your partner is running away from it. Put them on their ass, take their back, get your hooks in. We might as well get hooks in because the next thing we're going to do is baiting them into screwing up again. Okay. Boom. Here. Pull this down and back. Pull this across and back. Here. This is almost like I'm trying to make my shoulder blades touch. Okay. Questions? Need to see a transition again, or are we good? All right. Both 3.
Woo!
She's fine.
As long as you got that choke was nice. I get to decide what's nice.
No.
My body, my choice.
I mean, I can show you what's not nice.
No, that's not the game we're playing.
I mean, it sounds like the game we're
I
playing.
feel like that's the game we're playing. I literally feel like that's where we're at. All right. I'm a short guy.
Right, come on now.
I ain't even started it yet, but yes, it's terrible. Yeah, it's just that wrist right into the fucking. Terrible. Yeah. One arm choke. Fucking terrible. It's so rude. It's so rude. I'm sorry. You asked for this. Stop making me do this. You can't decline voluntarily. I will, hold the door for you. Not for me.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not worried about, you know, getting choked, you know. Yeah.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Any other questions?
It feels a little awkward. Sorry. Uh-huh. Yeah.
One more minute.
No. I cannot have that.
Time. We getting this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So before we move to the next thing properly, I feel like it's a good place to talk about face locks. Notice I said it before I had her sit. So look,
Wait,
So-
I need to fix something on the settings or.
alright, so, if we go from seatbelt to more traditional trying to short choke or rear naked choke or whatever. People are gonna hand fight, they're gonna look to get their chin in and down, okay? From a sub wrestling perspective, anything from here up is a choke. I don't care. If she gets her chin in, that's fine, lock the chin. If she gets her jaw in, lock the jaw. If she gets anything from here up, I don't care, okay? Now, the caveat I will give is this is mostly gonna be, pain, which is unreliable. Except in this case, because Amber is very reliable when it comes to pain. She will tap immediately. The exception to that, generally speaking, is if we're straight on like this and I chin lock and I pull straight back, you can dislocate the jaw. Okay, I will literally just move the jaw out of place. Okay, so if she tucks her chin straight down as I'm trying to short choke, and I just put my forearm on the chin and I drive straight back and I keep going, you can dislocate the jaw. Okay, so if we talk in terms of face locks, and I'm gonna have everybody drill this very lightly just so you get a feel for it, but tip of the chin, okay? Above the lip between the nose. Okay, this. The tip of the nose. The eye socket. If she turns her head, the jaw, the eye orbital, either side. Okay, listen, I don't care why she taps. Okay, and because it's pain compliance, generally what happens if I really want to choke and she's doing all this kind of stuff, no matter what, she knows I want to choke, right? But if I go here and she feels this and she wants to fight this, she will almost for sure give me the choke. Okay, so tip of the chin. Tip of the chin. Above the lip. Tip of the nose. I didn't say this earlier, bridge of the nose. Okay, upper eye orbital, like eyebrow, lower eye orbital, jawline. Okay, I've even seen ear, where people will go all the way across here to the ear, in this. Okay, usually though, if I've got to here, the neck is exposed and I can go ahead and take the choke. I would rather have the choke, obviously, right? Because that's what's gonna be most reliable finishing. This kind of stuff is because they piss me off. Okay? Try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously be light here. It does not take much. And look, I'm just using thumb side, the inside of the wrist. That's all I'm using. Okay. On 3. Woo! I was nice.
I tapped really early on the eye orbital one. I was like, oh, that was okay.
You tapped really early on that one, the nose tip one.
Yeah, I don't like
I
that.
barely got there.
I don't like that. It was on the tip of my nose. That was good to tap. Oh, I don't like any of this.
Not feeling it, let me know. It's fine. It's off.
Oh, what are you doing? What am I gonna do? Okay. What's around here? Yeah. Not so bad. Oh,
So time real fast.
yeah.
Mike, come here. Yeah, go get him. So look, I'm not, so the difference between what we just did earlier, where I was pulling this back and compressing the throat here, on all of these, I'm pulling straight back to me. Straight back. Okay? I'm not doing this. I don't want his head to move. I want to immobilize his head. Don't let his head move. Okay? This is where you whisper sweet nothings in their ear. This is negotiating position. I'm gonna break your fucking jaw. Usually that will expose this. Okay? But I'm not doing this. Straight back. Okay? Make sense? All right, one more minute. On 3. Woo!
You're in the wrong room.
Yeah, fresh out of those.
That seemed like so happy with them.
All right, my friend.
Yeah, that's the one. All right, time. So listen to me. This will win you no friends in jiu-jitsu. Okay? But you will win more. Okay, so now look, we had this conversation in the coach course yesterday. I do not believe there are dick moves in jiu-jitsu. You can be a dick in jiu-jitsu, but I do not, if it's legal by whatever rule set you're working on, then how's it a dick move? Okay? And if I'm trying to get a choke, you can't tell me that this is just not me trying to get a choke. You put your jaw there. That was your defense. You're defending with your jaw. That's not my problem. That's your problem. You chose to put your jaw there. Okay? That's it. If you decide that you are about this life, understand that it will come back to you. Okay, which is fine, right? If you start running this kind of work, this heavy-handed, heavy clubbing, face lock kind of stuff, whatever, just know that that opens it up for the other person. Okay. All right. So if we go back to where we were before, okay, and we're going to try to hit this choke. If she starts to hand fight with this hand here, okay, hand fight. I'm going to take this hand out and I'm going to go underneath. And I'm going to get really high underneath the armpits. And then I'm going to give her a way out. I'm going to do this. Okay. She will take it. She will take it.
Don't do it.
As soon as she gets out and puts her back or butt to the floor, I'm going to circle out and sit up. And then I'm going to pull her back to me as I fold her in half this way.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
I'm great.
Amber, how you doing? Okay. It's gonna be about that.
Here. Okay. Now listen, there again, kind of like we talked about on the other one. Depending on where my chest ends up with her head, there's gonna be a crank here, and there's gonna be a chest compression here where she's gonna feel like she can't breathe. Okay. Mike.
Save the marriage like that.
Here. He starts to hand fight. And maybe I've already got this one and he's hand fighting already. I take this one out and I go here. And he doesn't care about this. Right? He's like, sweet, he can't choke me from here. I want to get really high though. Really deep under the armpits. See where his elbows are? That's where I would like to be. And now I want to give him an out. Okay? Listen, I'm not like this. This will not finish it. I'm here. I'm going to give him an out. And when I take this leg out, I'm literally putting it flat on the floor. I want him to feel like, by the way, if it looks too fucking good, it probably is. That said, almost everybody in the room will take this out. Especially if they've been riding your back for a while and you feel like you just went from here and you're about to get choked and they go here and all of a sudden that foot's there. Almost everybody in the room is going to do this, which you're like, fuck yes. I am tired of this dude being on my back. Okay. I'm high on the chest, up underneath the armpits. I'm going to give him an out. As he goes to scoot his butt out, I'm going to scoot out from underneath me here. As I go to sit up, I'm going to suck this in and sit into him with my chest. This. Okay. From here, if I want to make it nastier, I'll just get up on my toes. It works. All right. Drive their head, their chin into their chest, and at the same time, compress their chest back to you. Questions? By the way, if I get to here, I get this, and I'm not finishing it, okay? Then I go right back to this. Because he's going to be so happy that I let go of this here. I sit him up, push into him, and go right back to this. So I'm going from here to here. Okay? Let's try to get the compression first, the crank and the compression. Questions? Squeeze the life out of them. 1, 3. Woo!
Yeah.
I need me to work that.
Yeah.
You definitely can.
I'm excited.
Aim for it.
Not gonna let that happen.
Good.
I think the only thing I don't have to
It's terrible all by itself.
Huh?
don't either, but like I literally have. Oh, something went in.
Maybe you're. No, but my arm, I need your arm.
Yeah. What do we do? And then there's Kodiak there on whatever.
Yeah, you messed up way before this.
Yeah. I should not have gone to
There
the
were so
last
many
guy.
mistakes. Oh,
Yeah. Yeah, like.
Darn.
This is-
All right, so look, there are some nuances here that I think we're missing. And I know it's hard because it doesn't seem very nuanced at all, right? It just seems like we're squeezing the, and we are to a degree, okay? But when, first of all, if the initial setup is not right, it's gonna be very difficult. If you're low like this, it's gonna be, like, I'm not getting much of a chest compression here, and it's gonna be hard for me to collapse this head down. When I switch from this seat belt to this double under, I'm cinching this up high. Okay, see where Mike's elbows are? That's what I would like to have. Right? As he starts to get out, listen, depending on how he exits, I might not have to get my legs up. I may be able to sit straight up into him this way. Okay, I'm gonna pull him back and then run forward with my chest. And then if I'm not getting the finish here, I'm gonna run him forward, boom, sit into him, and attack the choke. So much of this works because I'm giving him outs, and he feels like he's going from one thing to another, but the other thing is better, but it's not. Okay. Mike, you want to go hold the laptop?
Yes. My hair was in the camera and I couldn't tell this. Anyway.
Yeah. So when initially I'm going to sit into him, and then I'm going to pull him back so I can compress. And ideally, again, I want to make it a crank as well as a compression. That's why my shoulder or my chest is on the back of his head. So when I drive forward, I'm pulling at the chest and driving at the shoulder. Here. If that doesn't do it, I'm going to push my whole body forward, fold him in half, and then sit back till he feels like he's getting more relief. Bang. Okay. The entire time he should be miserable. The whole fucking time. And the little fraction of a relief of misery that he gets is what sets up my next thing. You give him an out. Give him a reason to go the way you want him to go. Okay? And look, when I transition, if I'm going from the crank and the compression to the choke, you see, when I sit him up and I fold him in half and I release, it's not. I'm going here, I'm releasing, and I'm going back. It's fast. I'm not allowing him, and I'm giving him a second and a half to think. And then you should be throwing that choke in hard. He gets his chin in, then guess what? Now it's a face lock. Okay, then we go back to that whole thing. Listen, if I'm on his back, I'm just gonna make it miserable for him the whole fucking time. The whole time. I worked hard to get here. He's gonna regret allowing me to have this position. And again, I don't care where he taps. He might just tap because he's tired of just getting beat up. That's okay. Keep moving him this way. Give him the out. Get the compression. You don't get it. Give him an out. Release. Bang. Right into the choke. Snap. Now look, you got to be able to snap into the choke without actually like clotheslining your partner. Right? I'm a trained professional. Okay. If you go from here to here and do bop that, that's going to be bad for Mike. Right? So if you need to slow that part down, you can slow it down. Just know that what it should be is when you give him this relief here. Okay? Questions?
No.
Oh, 3. Woo!
Yes.
You have a couple Well, so
No, but it's okay. But then also you can go there.
Let's not do that.
That's okay.
there. Now, they don't, they keep going down. Just back. If I would go heavy side pressure this way, doesn't really feel like they want to do that, and as soon as they do, just rip them up.
Have fun, man.
Yeah. Good job with the girl. That's great.
I'm glad my neck wasn't involved in that one, but I just been laughing.
When I'm getting out.
And that's right. All right, time. How we doing? What does that mean? All right, so right there, let's fix that. Okay, so. Yep. Yep. That's what we want to drive in. Okay, and if you need to get your hand higher, that would be. Yep. Yep. Where she's uncomfortable. Yep. Now, give her an out. So I would go in, just so she feels like she has an actual. When you drop that hand now. Yep, there you go. Yep, so what's happening is when you're sitting back,
Yeah.
you're pulling her back with you.
Okay.
As opposed to,
Pushing in the chest of the body.
yeah, I want to keep. Turn this one. Yep. So when you get this far along here and you sit her forward like that, if I want the compression, I'm gonna pull them back into this hole. Give space, and now I sit.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Kelly. Thanks, Aaron.
Yep, 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 yep.
That's what I was trying to do.
Other questions or problems with this? Look, absolute worst case, you're on their back. Okay, and so the attacks are pretty infinite from there. I'm gonna do what I can to maintain that back control. Whether it's, and look, one of the reasons that I wanted to show this particular series is because I think a lot of times people get to the back and they don't know anything other than, well, I got rear naked choke, and maybe they know an arm bar from back there off of a transition. But if I've got double unders or I've got a seat belt, it's all about setting up the choke, right? That's not all that's there. I mean, we could keep going with this. That's not all that's there. Okay, so having different attacks from this place, because it's like, this is pretty close to the holy grail of positions in terms of like grappling, right? I've got chest to back with somebody, but if I only have one or two finishes from there, how good is it really? Because if everybody else knows, well, they've only got one or two finishes from here. And no, now I start giving you different looks where I'm choking you from this seatbelt position. I'm compressing your chest or cranking you from this double under position. And then that will probably open up, if I'm not finishing either one of those things, it will probably open up where I can go back to my rear naked choke or my short choke. Okay. Questions? All right. So we're going to switch the series a little bit for the last few minutes. So we'll go back to standing. I had a whole front headlock series that I was going to do, but we'll switch it. And then we'll just do part 2 in a couple months. All right, so we're going to go off of the Russian tie here. If Amber, especially if I get my head in, if she posts on this shoulder, okay, I'm going to go attached to this here, this. Right. So sometimes if this here, she gets her head in, we will post on the shoulder to try to make some space. So now I can start looking to attack this way. So I don't want to let them leave that there for too long because they're going to have exits if I do. So I get here, I get my head in, she posts, the hand that's on the wrist is going to go collapse her elbow here. The hand that was underneath the armpit is going to go over the head, and I'm going to take her down. Okay, just scarf hold, old school headlock, case of Gatami finish here. Okay. Obviously, again, this would be super heavy, hard. You would look at club them, boom, as you came around the top. All right. I'm going very light. Here, she posts. I collapse this arm. And I'm collapsing this arm for a couple reasons, but one, it allows me to maintain control of the arms as I switch to this takedown. Here. Now I've got her arms bundled up. Here. Okay? Questions?
Are you getting heavy off her back as your arms over?
It's, so I'm doing it really slow, but I mean, realistically, it's, I'm going here, I'm doing this, and I'm going, what?
Okay.
And I don't stop. I'm just gonna
Almost like a strike.
headlock throw her to the floor. Yeah, I'm gonna hit back of the head and neck with my forearm and bicep and run her to the ground.
And you're blocking them. You're blocking.
I don't care about the legs. If my leg ends up blocking, then that's fine, but I don't really care about it. She posts here, this. As I collapse this one, I'm just going here. Okay. When you establish this position, and a lot of times it'll depend on what's happening with their arms, but if let's go to the other side. Once I get this, I'm going to go ahead and go inside thigh with the hand that went and controlled the head. Here, if I can get it. Okay, posting on this here, I'm controlling the inside of the thigh on the side. Don't get too heavy that way. Be heavy straight down into them. Okay, she should feel most of my weight in her chest. I don't want to get here, post this foot, and start leaning like this. I'm gonna get back. All three. Woo!
Yeah. Couple minutes here.
I would have wanted to die. Just let it be over.
Expedient of the same umbrella.
Oh, God.
You were
Yeah.
All right, time. Mike.
Okay, so I get my Russian, he posts on my shoulder, I'm gonna block this. I'm collapsing this elbow in. Look, I'm not giving him a chance to recover his hands. I'm not giving him a chance to break his fall. This hand is gonna punch over the top and I'm gonna spin right into my takedown. Okay, I'm tight. All of this should be snug. And I want my weight straight down into him. Okay. He's kind of effed right now. Okay. Because his elbows are away from him, it's going to be very hard for him to hand fight, to do much with this. The hand that's at the inner thigh, okay, if I can get it. Now, if I can't, because of where his hands are, I might start looking to give grab and whatever. Okay, it's right there. But if I can, I'm going to swim inside, and I'm going to find my own hands. And I'm just going S grip. Doesn't have to be S grip, I'm just going S grip. And I'm going to kind of loop this back to me. And as I do, this forearm is a little bit at the base of the skull. I'm going to get up off of my hip and my leg. And I'm going to loop this back and pull this back into me here and sit into his chest this way. He should almost feel like he's drowning. Okay. He should go from feeling kind of okay to can't breathe very well. He takes a breath. He exhales a breath. And then that's when it's going to be game over. Because when I'm here like this, and he breathes out here, and I take that space, he's going to feel like he's drowning. Okay? I'm literally just this, and I'm going to loop this as far as I can to compress his head and neck here. And then I got to get off of my hip. Because right now, there's too much weight not on mine. Okay. And look, this one will not be a super fast finish like some of the choke to triangulations were. This one is going to be a slow death for him. Okay. And the thing is, like, I can feel his breathing. Like, I know when he's taking that breath. And so when that exhalation happens, I just tighten up even more. And his chest is going to be able to continue to expand. Okay. And I'm literally going to feel the light leave him. Okay. I'm just kicking my hips up. But my weight is straight down into him. Because we're cranking at the head, there's a tendency to want to do this. Don't. You're going to get rolled. For sure. They don't know shit about fighting. They're going to roll you. All right. And we'll talk about these arms if they end up in a way, or he's able to. I don't collapse them like this on the takedown. He's able to frame or whatever. We'll talk about them real quick. Okay. One, three.
It's actually, it goes into your phone. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I've got these different ones. From all the studios.
I don't like it.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think that.
Well, but they're usually too big. Right? So I think, you know, this is so.
Sweet. Still here.
Yeah.
Slamming you down. Okay. That's great. Sorry.
I'd like to live. That was awesome. You were nice to me. I just didn't.
Yeah. Way down in this.
Yeah, but we're gonna talk about
All right, time. Okay, so one more thing, we're short on time. Listen, we can do this all weekend long and still not, you know, get anywhere near where I would like to be. Here, I hit the takedown, boom, I loop this around, I sit back into it. Now, if I don't get the tap, this time this arm ended up free. This one is not free though. Okay. If this arm ends up inside like it was before, and most of you are ending up inside this way, then I can gift wrap. The other thing I can do is just like we did on the other ones, I can start to give him an out. If I get here and it's not happening, I give him a little bit of space where he feels like he wants to go out. And I'm going to go here. Okay.
No more.
I've got a joke. So if the arm is free, right? We ended up here the first time. If the arm is free, I shove this one to the floor, I get up underneath this. Maybe I can figure for my legs. There's arm bar here. If I pin it to the floor this way, I probably don't even have to get underneath the leg. There's a shoulder lock here. This is just an Americana. Here, push this to the floor. Mike has tight shoulders. Okay. If this arm ends up inside, like it was before, maybe I gift wrap and I go to work from here. Off of the gift wrap, if I pull here and push here, I can start getting him belly down and go to work from here. Okay, now it's back take. I can do all the terrible shit we did earlier because his face is exposed. His arm is blocking him from getting his head down. Okay. If I give him an out, or what he thinks is an out, here. Now, if he rolls, if I give him an out that way, that's not what I want. I'm going to pull him this way a little bit here and give him space there. Okay, where he feels like he's going to go belly down. Now, from here, I still might just gift wrap and start working towards his back. If he's able to frame with this hand, he really can't frame with this hand right now. I would just gift wrap them. He can't frame. When I gift wrap, I want to pull here, push here. And I'm going to go chest to tricep initially. So I'm basically just going to switch my hips here. And back mount. And now we're right back to face locks. Okay. And the face locks here are almost for sure going to give me a choke. Because he's going to run away from the face locks. All right. Okay. Questions? Listen, just on the back for side control. So just conceptually, things to think about from a sub wrestling standpoint versus the straight jiu-jitsu. Like there's all kinds of side control positions, right? I can be here, here, here. I could be this hip down. I could be this hip down. I could be some measure of basic autonomy, whatever. This head underneath, even if I'm running like shoulder of justice this way, eventually this arm has to come out. Like there's not a lot I can do with this arm in. So if you just think in terms of just this, just from a purely let's make this miserable for him kind of standpoint, I don't want him looking at me because if he looks at me, he's facing me, he can fight me. Don't like that, right? So face locks, we did them from the back. Doesn't mean that that's the only place they are. I want to have heavy top pressure, chest to chest here. I'm active toes, and then I'm this. Just make him look away. And now I'm putting a lot of heavy pressure down this way. He's not, even though he knows he needs to turn into me, he needs to get on this inside hip. He's not gonna. Like it's just not gonna happen. Okay. If he rolls at all, he will roll away from me. And again, I want to give him an out. Let him roll. Right? I'll go from heavy top to where he feels restricted with his movement. So I'm gonna let him go. Let him go. Let him go. Sweet. Okay. I don't think there's enough emphasis a lot of times put on giving people an out. If I give them an out and I know that they're most likely to take it, it's just like push-pull energy, right? I push, I know that they're likely to push back. Here, especially if I've made it very miserable for them and they're in a really bad position, good people will take an out because they're getting pummeled. And in that moment in time, you may not be thinking super rationally. And if all of a sudden you see there's an exit. I like to have multiple attacks going at the same time, even if they're not real, as long as he thinks they're real. But then I also like to give them an exit because look, let's say they've got 3 options to defend. There's three viable options, 3 realistic things that they could do to escape whatever it is that I'm doing. I don't know which of the 3 they're going to do necessarily. So make it easier for them to make that decision. As long as you know where it's going to lead next, it's chess. You're playing a step or 2 ahead, 3, 4 steps ahead. Okay. If I know there are 3 viable escapes for him, give him one of them. As long as you got something waiting for him, right? That way I don't have to guess where they're going to go, what they're going to do next. And maybe it's even what I want more than what I've got right now. Because what I've got right now, I'm obviously not finishing. Because if I was, then I wouldn't need to give him an out. But even something as simple as side control, if I go forearm across the face like that, first of all, it's just miserable. It just sucks. It's like it's just a terrible place to be. But I know he's not going to turn into me. He's not. Like, not if I'm heavy with it. You can break his own neck. Like, your body just doesn't work like that. Okay. I know if I get that bag take and I drop one of my hooks, he is very, very likely to go that way. Okay. All right. Questions? We could do this all weekend, right? This is, I mean, I didn't even touch what I planned to do really. Because I went on a tangent or 2. Yeah. All right. Cool. We done. Thanks, everybody.
All right.
Good work.
If you didn't register for this class, even though it's after, please go ahead and register. We